Hey, Jerry, how are you, my friend?
Good, you?
Oh, I'm very well indeed. What a privilege to speak with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Pleasure indeed. We're thrilled that you're performing at the upcoming Soundwave Festival. Can't wait to see you back on our shores again. But congratulations on the 8th studio album, Fear. It's a brilliant achievement for you.
I appreciate that. Thanks. We're definitely happy with how it turned out.
Most certainly. You seem to have branched out and explored your talents without sort of leaving behind your classic sound. Is that what you're aiming for?
Yeah, we've always kind of evolved and changed over the years. Even before Infest came out, we were something completely different, maybe even 4 years before that. So we've constantly kind of evolved it. And I think, when Infest came out, like we kind of found our sound and found the things about what we did at that time that we like, and kind of continued those certain aspects on, and then just kind of introduced new influences over the years. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And this album ostensibly seems to have such a positive focus. Is that what was driving you along the road of positivity?
Well, number one, Jacoby was sober on this record, going into the record, and
okay.
That, I think, had a lot to do with it. And really, if you go back and listen to a lot of the lyrics in the previous albums, it is about his experiences, his struggles, his internal dialogues that happen. And over the years, we've had fans come to us and say, since he has put himself out there so much and talking about those problems that we've helped them get through very hard times in their lives. And, this one kind of falls in that same category, but, the subject matter kind of leans a little more positive. There are some points in the record that are pretty dark, but it's important for people to have that hope if they're going through those struggles. And we just wanted to continue that and sort of make that statement that you can take the negative, which is fear, and then turn it into positive, which is face everything and rise.
Wow, you should be applauded for such a brilliant achievement, showing your listeners light at the end of the tunnel. It's a fantastic approach.
Oh,
Gravity is such a tremendously well-performed rap piece on its own. I'm really reminded of, going back to Last Resort. What prompted the addition of Gravity onto the album?
Gravity was something that I was working on by myself, and it was a very basic chord structure and wasn't anywhere near a finished song. And I took it to Tobin, and we kind of worked on it together. And then Jacoby heard it and said, I'm going to put a rap on this one. I think that it's because of the amount of lyrics that he had. He had a lot to say in a short amount of time, and so he wanted he wanted to rap in that part. And at first we were all a little bit trepidatious just because we didn't feel like the vibe really fit with a rap, but it ended up being that juxtaposition was what was needed to kind of bring that whole statement of what he was saying really to an intimate place. And it kind of seemed to amplify that intimacy and really, drive home the things that he was talking about. And it was kind of shocking to us at first, but over the next couple of weeks, we kind of shaped and formed the music to fit with the vocal, and ended up with something that we feel is really, a lot different and something that we're really happy and proud of. But yes, it was a little bit of a journey getting there, but we're definitely stoked with the end product.
Fantastic. I did a review recently, and I couldn't help but comment that I don't think any of your fans would be in the slightest bit disappointed with the addition of it on the album. It's so beautifully done. Do you have a favourite track? Oh, my pleasure. Do you have a favourite track to perform from the Fear album?
Right now, we're doing 2 songs. Well, I think actually we're going to add one more in tonight. But right now, it's Broken as Me.
Oh, right.
I wasn't really it wasn't my favorite song on the album, initially, and to be honest, I wasn't really too stoked about playing it live. But once we started playing it, it's got so much room, and it kind of allows us to kind of fall back into that, lock into that groove, and it just sounds huge live. So I'm loving it.
Brilliant. It's such a great track too. And do you find that it engages the audience? I mean, I personally identify with that song a great deal without giving too much away. But do you find it really engages the crowd?
Yeah, we've had a lot of people already singing it, which is really cool, especially since the album has just come out. But it just seems like people, the fans have really kind of latched onto that song, and I can see in their faces, that they really feel it, and they just love that vibe.
Fantastic. Do you mind if I ask you a little bit about Straight Edge?
Sure, not at all.
I hope it's not a rude question in any way, but I was wondering what it means in practical terms for you.
I mean, to be honest, I don't claim it. It's not something that I fight for or anything. It's just, a personal choice that I've made not to do any of that stuff. Just because, well, number one, I think I have control issues, but on the other side of it, I have a great time without doing anything, and I get the benefit of not having a hangover the next day.
Yeah, and, absolutely.
I don't end up saying stuff that I'll regret later. So, my philosophy is to each his own, and it's not something that I've ever really gotten into.
Yeah, let's hope that your example has helped Jacoby along the way.
He has talked about the fact that it has kind of served as a sort of inspiration for him, and it's not something I intended at all, but it kind of makes me, it kind of sort of vindicates, what I do a little bit, and I've always tried to be there for him and for Tobin in those dark times or whatever, and maybe tried to sort of give them advice along the way, but I've never really been able to do that without feeling like they feel like I'm judging them. So I've kind of just been along my path and offered my help along the way. And I think now everybody's kind of past that whole party phase in their lives, and it's cool that we're brothers, and we are friends, and they've finally kind of come around, and I feel like we have a more solid relationship now. Oh,
brilliant. And it comes through on the album, there's no doubt about it. I have to tell you, I'm not trying to cater to your intellectual vanity, but you're such a tremendous role model. Who knows how many lives you've saved throughout the years by your example. But besides that, you're a tremendously talented and accomplished guitarist. As I understand, you picked up the guitar at the age of 14. Were you actually up on a roof working when you decided that music was going to be your life?
Well, I was a roofer for a little while, and that was the last job I had. But I had a bunch of other jobs previous to that while being in the band. It just sort of kind of culminated at that point, as I was doing the roofing thing, and we had started to go down to LA and play shows, and we could sort of feel that buzz kind of building, and thankfully at the time I had a girlfriend who could sort of help support financially for the short amount of time that there was between job and signing. But I chose to focus energies on the band, and luckily it worked out, and here we are. But it was it was tough. I was like, I was going to college, and I stopped doing that because I wanted to focus on the band as well, and everybody having all of that focused energy into it, I think made it happen. But
brilliant.
Roofing, I have a large respect for guys that get up there, especially in the summer months.
Oh, absolutely. It's looking outside at some guys on a roof doing residential construction at the moment, and I understand what you mean completely with the sun beating down. You stamped your authority so quickly too. Did you find it was difficult to emerge in those early days around 1993, 94?
Well, in the very early days, it was we were just doing it for fun. We had no expectations of, being able to support ourselves financially from the band. It was just that we were, we had mutual friends in the beginning, and then we became friends. But it was just, we were in a small town where there really wasn't much to do, and there was also a fairly decent music scene. So, we came together and became part of this music scene, and it was just fun. We played at house parties and cafes and community centers, and we didn't really have any expectations. It was just a good time, and as we went on over the years, we realized that, people are buying our CDs, or people are buying our T-shirts. They like what we're doing. I think maybe we could do this. So we, between probably 97 and 99, we really focused on building our fan base and sort of treating it more as a business. And like I said, in 99, everything kind of culminated, and we got that record deal with DreamWorks.
And thankfully you kept going. I mean, here we are, 8 studio albums later. And back to our shores for Soundwave 15. Is there anything particularly you like about visiting Australia?
Well, number one, it's been 13 years since we've been there, which is almost unforgivable. But,
we forgive you. Welcome back.
We loved it when we were there. We loved the reception that we got. Everyone was really just warm and inviting, and kind of reminded us of California, which is our home. And the funny thing is that it seems like everybody's kind of laid back, but when it comes to the show, everybody goes nuts. and that's something that we have been looking forward to since we got the word that we got the offer for Soundwave, and the goal now is to not make it another 13 years until the next time.
That is very, very good news, and thank you very much for coming back. And with the new album and the fantastic tracks that you have ready for us, we can't wait to hear. Where are you playing tonight?
We are in Chicago tonight.
Ooh,
we've been on tour with Caesar for the past couple of weeks, and it's been really, really great. It's been a good time, and we get along with those guys, and the crowds have been really good. So.
Well, fantastic. I was going to say have a wonderful show, but they always are. Thank you very much for your time today. It's an absolute treat to speak with you, and I've got so many more questions. I hope to catch up with you at Soundwave. It'll be great to see you.
Thank
you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, my friend.
All right, have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.